Amy, let me tell you about a magical place that is so exactly designed to be enclosed space, year-round fun for the whole family that I bet you already know what I'm going to say before I even say the name. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great Wolf Lodge. You got it, Amy.
My kids loved Great Wolf Lodge when we went. You probably already know that it has a huge indoor water park with a wave pool, lazy river, a bunch of massive water slides. But then your pack can hit the other attractions because, wait, there's more.
Great Wolf Lodge has adventure-packed attractions like Magi Quest, a live-action game kids can play throughout the lodge, plus the Northern Lights Arcade. Spent some quality time there, so your kid who loves the lazy river and your kid who loves fantasy games will both have a great time.
Great Wolf Lodge also offers great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. Unpack the car once and you're settled in to have fun. And with 22 lodges across the country, you're always a short drive away from adventure.
We've both had such great times at Great Wolf Lodge, so bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Learn more at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack. Wow, it's amazing you survived.
What fresh hell?
Laughing in the face of motherhood.
It's your reticular activating system.
With Margaret Abels
and Amy Wilson.
It was one of the darkest days in family history when we broke a vase in the good room.
A podcast that solves today's parenting dilemmas
so you don't have to.
After the Wicker lobbyists died down, they moved on to RC Cola.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to What Fresh Hell? Laughing in the Face of Motherhood. This is Margaret.
And this is Amy, and today we're going to talk about why was this a thing? Some of the random rules that we once lived by for some reason.
I'm ready for this. I feel like there were so many of these things back in the day. And I do also want to say that, I mean, this is still going on. Like, people still will give you extremely strong advice about things, and you just think, what is that thing you just said out loud? As I like to say to my husband sometimes, I'll be like, why do you see like 4 types of the same car in a row sometimes on the highway, let's say? And my husband cannot help but answer the question. Like, and it's become a joke between us that I'm like,
it's your reticular activating system.
Yes, exactly. Like, why do you see Mars sometimes in the winter sky? He's like, well, because, and I can just tell he has no idea, but he can't not answer the question. I have a friend, a hilarious friend, who at some point said, do you know anything about blah, blah, blah? And I said, no. And he was really disappointed. And he said, do you want to just pretend you do and we'll talk about it anyway? Like, he just wanted to talk about it. And that's my husband's whole life philosophy. But I do see a lot of people still giving very stern advice about things that they clearly know nothing about.
Okay. But most of these for today are ones that, like, why did we ever worry about these? Why were we told that these were things we had to do? That's sort of my rule for today, but we'll see how they come out.
It's strong opinions that are ill-informed from the past.
Yes, right. That was like, why was this ever a thing? So I'll start strong. My grandmother, Mary Connor Wilson, she of the tweet. I don't know if she made that up, but that's why we say it, because my grandmother used to say it. Tweet about everything. She didn't care about much. She just said tweet everything. Nothing mattered.
The world is a useless place. Nothing matters, but
nothing got to her except for 2 things. And I'm talking like including when she was pretty advanced dementia and living with us. There were 2 things. Most things just, passed by, but 2 things that she cared about. The first one, no baseball hats inside. Do you remember this? Like, you had to take off. I mean, we didn't wear baseball hats as much as our the boys in our lives maybe, but like you had to get them off as soon as you got inside or it was incredibly rude.
Well, I have a story about this.
Okay.
When I was in college, my grandmother passed away and I had a really good friend, male friend. We were not dating. We were friends. Still one of my closest friends in the entire world. And he kept a car in the city because his mom lived in the city. So I went to college in New York City, grew up outside the city. And so he heard my grandmother died, and as just a gesture of straight kindness, he offered to drive me home so that I could be with my family, which he then did. In the afternoon at some point, my mother invited him to stay for dinner. She was going out of her way to say, like, what a nice thing that you did to, like, Meg didn't have to schlep to the subway and find a train. You just took her home. Lovely. We had a nice meal. wonderful time, great time. He leaves after, 6 or 7 hours of like being with the family in our time of need. And after his exit, my mom, in her very passive aggressive way, said, "Now what a lovely young man. Now, where is he from that you wear a baseball cap inside the house?" Like, despite the fact that he had like sacrificed this entire day to like make us a gesture.
Like carried her out of a burning building. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he like saved the day. But my mom was just obsessed with the fact. And I will say he wore it through dinner and like it's never been forgotten. Like we have now been friends for probably 30 years. My mother's now passed, but if she was here, she'd be like, "Oh, I love that Robert."
Today.
But he did wear a baseball cap to dinner once. And like that cannot be forgotten or forgiven.
This is sort of morphed into a baseball hat is fine, but a baseball hat backwards, at least in like sort of, old fashioned country club circles, like that is the most flaming height of disrespect that can be offered, for you to walk into a place with your baseball hat on backwards. That just gets under people's skin and they want to have rules against it. I mean, I've been there when those rules were expressed.
My husband turned his baseball cap around the other day, and both of my sons informed him that he was too old to wear his hat like that and he should turn it back around. So they have their own rules.
I didn't know that rule.
I will say I am spending a part of my vacay, my summer break in Texas, where my husband hails from. And I think that maybe this is too broad a statement. It seems like in the South, some of the kind of societal rules are still they're observed in a kind of all society way, in a way that I think in New York, maybe because there's so many different cultures and stuff, it's not true.
Right.
But I have been at events, where like one of my kids has a baseball cap on, or just some other kid does, and they walk into like church, or it's the anthem is playing somewhere, and it's just something that my kids are not tuned into. And like the older men in the crowd will turn around and be like, "Take off that hat, young man." Like they're very into the kind of rules, which is fine.
So these are the random rules that some of us still live by. So the other thing that my grandmother felt very strongly about when much else had fallen away, no baseball hats in the house.
She no longer remembers her current location or her spouse's name, but she remembers.
Right. She didn't know where she was, but you get that hat off. Yeah. And the other one was no whistling in the house. She felt very strongly that kind of women shouldn't whistle at all, but under no circumstances should you whistle indoors.
I would like to stand outside at a respectful distance from the house and doff my cap to your grandmother, because if I could eliminate whistling as an event worldwide, I would do so.
In or out of the house. Uh-huh.
Like if I could push a button that said no one ever whistles again, I would smash that like button so hard, Amy. Whistling is my kryptonite. It's the worst sound. I don't mind the occasional, like, 2 fingers in the mouth, like, call for the horse. Like, that doesn't bother me.
Right.
Can't do it. But, like, a strong, like, whistle to summon someone once every, 7 months, I would be fine with. But, like, someone who whistles just, and horrifying.
So I remember being a kid of like, I think it was like the summer I was 7. Like my one goal for the summer was learn to whistle, like figure that out, that skill that was just beyond my capability, swim across the pool and learn how to whistle, because that was like part of, becoming the person that I needed to be. And then once you learn how to whistle, I can't even tell you the last time I whistled.
Here's an irony. I'm a pretty damn good whistler. Like, I'm really like a gifted whistler, but I hate whistling. I mean, whistling. Even songs that are like, they have whistling, the sound of it makes me crazy. It makes my skin crawl. I am team Amy's grandma all the way.
All right. So I'm starting to find out that these rules are maybe not so as passed away as I thought they were. We're 2 for 2. You being like, no, baseball hats backwards, no whistling.
I mean, it's not... Neither one of them, I don't find the like kind of, shall we say, patrician manners aspect interesting, but I just want to eliminate whistling worldwide.
Don't want to hear that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Forget eliminating, polio. I want to eliminate whistling. Did you grow up believing that you would drown if you went in the water without waiting 30 minutes after you ate?
30 minutes, like, on the clock. Yeah.
On the clock, correct.
Like, my mom would let me know we were at Lake Hideaway and we'd have our, hamburgers on a sort of plate that I'll get to, because they were once a very important thing. And then you had to be full half hour, like 5 more minutes. Why? Who said that? How did that catch fire before Twitter, like before the era of misinformation?
I was a curious child. And of course, I drilled down on this. And I was like, what's with it? And then my parents would sternly, probably my mother, explain that, in fact, if you tried to swim too close to eating, that you would get a cramp and drown.
Yeah. I mean, that was the explanation, but that's not true.
Oh, no, it's not true. I wasn't sure if you'd heard the backup text.
Oh, yeah. Like, because you'll drown if you do that, because you'll get a terrible cramp. But it doesn't. Who said that? Like, I don't think our parents were, like, tricking us. This wasn't like, let's all pull one over in the kid. They believed it firmly.
Oh, no, they believed it. No. Why would they want us not swimming? Why would they want us hanging out? Like, it was a torture for them.
I don't know who put this in people's heads and how it caught fire. Like, was it on an episode of Chips? Like, how did it come across so clearly to every one of our parents that, yes.
Highly unclear, but it was definitely a rule. And you're right. Like, there was a timer involved.
Mm-hmm. Not a minute less. Do you remember, speaking of, summer afternoons, that paper plates, back in the day, you couldn't just have a paper plate. It had to have like a wicker holder that it went in, like a charger.
God. People, youngies, you will never understand the unbelievable satisfaction of clicking the paper plate into the wicker holder. It would make the most satisfying, like, click, click, click. So picture like a very flat wicker basket. And then your paper plate would go into it, but then like the sides of the paper plate would click under the lip of the wicker holder. But this one I actually understand. This is technology, drove the wicker basket out.
Yeah, because paper plates used to be totally...
Yeah, because paper plates used to be like the width of a tissue. And so I remember, in fact, the theme song is on the edge of my mind.
A theme song for the wicker holders that the paper plates?
No, it was about paper plate. There was a million ads. You know how like the Snuggie ads or the infomercial ads are like,
yeah,
you know how a blanket is, and it's like a woman trying to like use the remote while having a blanket, and she's like murdering herself with the blanket. Like, it's like, oh, I can't possibly. And then she gets her Snuggie on and she's like, oh, now I could use the remote completely normally. There was a lot. Oh, no, I'm thinking of, actually, the theme song I'm thinking of is something like Hefty versus Wimpy, but that was actually about garbage bags.
Hefty. That's all I got from there.
Yes, and the Wimpy. That's the one I'm thinking of. But that was garbage bags. But so much the youngs are like, what are you people talking about?
What are you talking about? But the wicker holders were like a little classy. Like I feel like if you had people over, you use those.
But the reason I'm thinking about the advertisement is because there was when like reinforced paper plates first started coming on the scene, which I'm going to say early 80s maybe. There was a million ads where like a guy was at a picnic or at an event and someone would try to put a meatball on his plate and like the paper plate would fold the wrong way. And then everyone at the party was like, womp, womp, like you lost your meatball. And then someone would be like, but I have this kind of plate. And it would hold up to a meatball. Like that was a big advertising advantage of certain paper plates.
And I don't think they advertised these wicker holders. Like, I don't know if they had a name. I don't know what it was.
No, just everybody just knew about them.
They just caught on. Like, and again, like before there was TikTok, how did everybody just all of a sudden know you had to have these wicker holders and know where to go get them?
I don't know, but there was some sort of mom mafia pushing.
Right.
Big Wicker was pushing wicker baskets to all of the moms, and the word got out. And let me tell you, Big Wicker had a gigantic downfall in the early 80s when someone figured out, what if you just put 8 plates together and, glue them together and make a strong plate?
Right. The decorative basket craze went to paper plate. All sorts of things were a little bit better with a little wicker. Everything needed a little wicker.
You're not wrong. All right. We'll be back with even more random rules we once lived by.
Hellions, it's time for some spring cleaning, and I don't just mean the coat closets. Doing your financial spring cleaning can actually be super easy when you let Monarch do your financial spring cleaning for you. One dashboard that gets your entire financial life organized. No more clutter, no more mess, no more logins scattered everywhere, just accounts, investments, property, and more, all in one place. Get your first year of Monarch for half off, just $50 with promo code FRESH. Monarch allows you to look not only at what you've already spent, but also to plan for the future. With Monarch, you can set savings goals, plan for big purchases, and notice spending trends before they become a problem. I can generate cash flow reports that show me what we spent this quarter, this month, what we're probably going to spend next month, and feel prepared, organized, and knowing how to plan for the future. No more surprises and a lot more clarity. Try Monarch. Use code FRESH at monarch.com to get your first year half off at just $50. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code FRESH. All my kids learned to swim when they were little. It was super important to me that they be confident and safe in the water. There was only one problem with that: taking them to swim lessons. I mean, the pools were freezing. There were always cranky adults doing laps right there. And it was definitely not, for any of us, what you would call fun.
Amy, heard. But now there's Goldfish Swim School. Goldfish takes a really thoughtful approach to swim lessons, combining research-based teaching with a warm, kid-friendly environment that actually helps kids thrive in the water.
Every detail at Goldfish is thoughtfully designed to create a golden experience, from shiver-free, warm indoor pools to comfy waiting areas for parents to professionally trained lifeguards on deck.
Goldfish uses an approach called the science of swim play, which combines guided play with proven teaching techniques to help kids learn to swim, build water safety skills, and gain confidence, all at their own pace. Lessons are designed to meet kids exactly where they're at.
If you've been thinking about swim lessons or just wondering where to start, this is a great opportunity. Right now, Goldfish Swim School is offering a waived membership plus your child's first lesson free at participating locations.
Just visit goldfishswimschool.com/free to find a location near you and enroll using promo code FREE.
That's goldfishswimschool.com/free, promo code FREE.
Amy, when I'm having a good hair day, it usually makes my whole day better. And that's why on every day, I'm taking Nutrafol.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, and it's the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested.
Nutrafol offers multiple formulas for men and women, tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors, so you get support that's actually right for you. Adding Nutrafol to your daily routine is easy. Order online, no prescription needed, with automated deliveries and free shipping to keep you on track.
Let your hair be one less thing to worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair in 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you visit Nutrafol.com and enter promo code LAUGHING.
That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code LAUGHING.
Do you remember growing up, like being absolutely freezing in your house on a weekend morning or even like late at night or whatever, but knowing that the absolute worst thing that anybody could do was turn the heat up? You had a heating system, but you couldn't really use it.
I do. And then I once had a roommate who had clearly grown up in this kind of house. The coldest I've ever been in my life. I lived in San Francisco for a year, and my roommate had clearly grown up in this house where, like, who needs heat? Put on a sweater. Like, I was constantly, there's something about the cold in San Francisco. It's like that, like, wet, foggy cold. It's like the cold, like, creeps into your, like, collar and down your back. Like, it's cold. And so it would be like, I don't know, 59 degrees. We're not talking about freezing.
And soggy, damp, and very chilly. Yes, it's a wet chili.
I guess she didn't want to pay the heating bill, which is, I think, the reason why we would scream about this. But I would be so cold, and I would stuff towels against the cracks in my door and secretly turn on the little floor heater in my room and, like, be roasty toasty in my room. But then before I could leave my room, I had to open all the windows and, like,
remove all evidence.
push all the heat out, to remove all evidence that I had used a heater. Because yes, like the disgusting personal indulgence of using a heater was like anathema to this woman.
Right. It was there, but you couldn't use it. I mean, and no air conditioning. I grew up in a very big, old house. So that's why my parents didn't want the heat on ever, because it was expensive to heat things. And we didn't have air conditioning except like maybe like window units in certain rooms. But yeah, this idea that like heat was like plasma, like it was a resource you weren't allowed to use at all because there wasn't enough of it.
Well, I see your heat and I raise you telephone calls. I mean, this is another thing that like the youngs cannot relate to. But in my day...
Right. They were a precious, precious resource.
And still, I would call my grandmother, who passed away in the 90s. And she lived like, 4 miles from us. It was not a long distance call. But I'd be like, Grandma, how are you? And she'd be like, great. Okay, I don't want to use up the phone bill. Okay, goodbye. Like the idea of talking on the phone was like, what are you just, ripping up $100 bills? Why don't you just do that instead of calling me? And I think back in the day, like a long distance call, which would have been considered like New York to Connecticut, I think they did charge by the minute.
It was 10 cents a minute.
Yeah, like people now could relate in the olden days of cell phones when you paid like by the minute and it was very expensive. That's right. But a long distance phone call. Oh my gosh. But definitely people of a generation never got that idea out of their head. And yeah, I mean, my dad still has a little bit of it where you'll call and he's like, okay, great talking to you after 2 minutes. Like,
right.
The idea of gabbing on the phone, horrifying.
Yep, I identify with that. Did you grow up with, and now again, I understand why this was a thing. I suggest that maybe this is less of a thing than it used to be. Did you grow up with a room that nobody was ever allowed to go in?
Amy, it was called the good room, and we never went in it. It was called the good room.
Ours was the living room, which was ironically named because we opened Christmas presents in there. That was all we did in there.
Oh my God. We grew up in the exact same family. We only went in on Christmas Day, the good room.
Yep. In fact, story about that. My younger brother, he was 4 or 5 years old, had reason to wander into that room one day and said, where's the Christmas tree? Because the only times he was ever in that room, there was a Christmas tree in there.
He only knew it. Is this universal? Please come to the Facebook group and tell us if this is something that you guys grew up with. Because yes, I think this was very Irish, the good room, that the house would have we had a living room. Was it called the library? I think where we actually sat. It was called the library. And it did have some books. It had built-ins and it had some books. So that was called the library. But the living room, and then we had a family room.
And that's like TV and board games. And
the family room was for watching TV. Now the library was for cocktails and like sitting. That was like where the adults sat, in the library. And then the family room had a TV and a couch. That was, everyone was allowed in
the good room.
But the good room?
Yes.
You never went in the good room, Amy. The good room was only, and one time, let me tell you, and this will strike fear in your Irish Catholic heart. We were playing a game of tag and chase, and we involved the good room. We went in the good room.
Who crossed that line? I can't imagine.
I mean, it was like, when a fever takes over a group of people, like
yes.
It was like insane. Yes. Like we all went insane.
Yeah.
And we were running through the good room. And guess what we did? We broke a vase in the good room. And wow. It was one of the darkest days in family history when we broke a vase in the good room. We weren't even supposed to be in the good room, Amy. And we broke a vase.
And that's why.
Yeah, that is a hilarious reminder of something. Again, like this did not seem unusual to me growing up. Mm-hmm. Now, you don't have a room in your house where nobody's allowed to go.
I mean, I live in an apartment, so no. And also, like, it's a different day and like it's all one room, right? Like somebody decided that was a good idea around the 90s. And now it's just open floor plans and it's all just one big room.
It's open floor plan. Yeah, that's what our kids will be making podcasts about. Like, why didn't we have walls? That would have been nice. Yeah, I mean, I feel like people are picturing me growing up in like a mansion. These are very small rooms. You know what I mean? It's not like we had wings of the house. It's just that unlike, right, in the modern build, like everything's very open. The house was like a series of small compartments. And every compartment had a role. The other thing that I have told people that they find very hard to believe, but is true, our library, the library had a door without a door on it. So like an opening, and that came into the dining room.
Yeah. Okay. A doorway.
And so my parents put up a baby gate that was there until we were like 12. And there was 1 hour of the day that was adult talk time. And no children were allowed in the library during adult talk time.
Now that's a rule that we should bring to the modern day.
I was usually, I think, like my dad, we lived in the 1950s. My dad would come home from work on the train. He would come in, he would change from his like Mad Men suit into like slacks, a shirt, and a sweater. Like it was another fancy outfit.
Like a Mr. Rogers relaxing. Right.
Yeah. Like he did not change it to like, my husband wears a t-shirt that says like, I got wrecked on spring break 1991 or whatever. That was not in his wardrobe. He would change into a full other Mr. Rogers outfit. Mm-hmm. He and my mother, and sometimes some neighbors or friends, would have cocktails in the library. It was adult talk time, and a baby gate would be erected between the two rooms. And we would occasionally like hang on the baby gate and look in, like something fascinating must be happening. At which point we were informed it's adult talk time, and we would be sent away.
So you can't be there. You can't be in the good room. Figure it out.
I guess it's time to go to the family room because the good room is permanently closed until Christmas. And the library is adult talk time. So like it must be. And you know where we went? We went outside, Amy. Was it winter? Yes, it was. We went outside.
Yep.
We didn't have screens, Amy. We had outside or we had the family room. And guess what?
You figured it out. It was like Lord of the Flies out there.
The family room, the Muppet Show didn't start until 7:30. There was nothing on TV. What were we doing in there? We weren't going to watch the news, the nightly news. That was the only thing on at 6 o'clock.
Here's another random rule that I grew up with that in my adulthood was like, wait a minute, this was always a lie. It was a terrible lie. That you can't use, how there's like reading lights in the car, like interior lights that you can put on so you can see in the car. You can't ever use those when you're driving at night or else the driver will crash the car because they won't be able to see.
I still believe that is true. I still enforce that rule.
It is. I'm here to tell you, free yourself. It's incredible. You don't need it. I have a lot of light sensitivity. And so I have a lot of trouble driving at night with like the oncoming headlights, particularly in this day of everybody's got those like, you think they have their beams on? No, those are their regular lights. And then there'd be these like other beams that would vaporize you.
Right. Their headlights are turned up to like 9,000 all the time.
Those LED xenon bulbs on huge cars coming right at eye level. So I have a hard time with that. Guess what completely takes that away? You turn on the reading light in the car. So then there's a light source in the car and the light source coming at you. No problem. You can see fine.
I am literally like breaking out into a cold sweat. Like I can feel my heart rate increasing as you say this. Like I completely live in the world. Like I have realized that half an hour after eating is a myth. But like if a kid in my car turns on the light, I scream as if like they just took out a butcher knife and like are coming for me. I'm like, turn that off. We're going to crash the car. You're telling me that like people recreationally turn reading lights on in your car and you keep driving?
I'm telling you, I can see better at night with the interior light on, not less well.
I will never be able to turn that corner, I can tell you. Like, I'm getting extremely agitated just at the thought of someone turning on a reading light.
I understand. It's a foundational belief for you that I'm asking you to, like, yank away. You can't do that.
I can't change. I'm too old. I'm an old dog. I can't learn this new trick. And they are called reading lights. You're right. Like, it would imply that they're for reading in the car. But oh my God, the second...
Well, yeah, which obviously I'm not doing that if I'm driving.
No, but I mean, it's kids in the back. I mean, you've blown my mind, Amy. Truly, you've wrecked my world.
Set yourself free.
Next thing you know, I'm going to be enjoying whistling. My God.
Did you ever hear this one? This one was completely unfamiliar to me, but it made me laugh. That you weren't supposed to take showers when it was thunder and lightning outside?
Amy, are you insane? That's a route to immediate death.
I've never heard this one before.
What?
This didn't make it to Scranton.
Oh my God. If you shower when it's thundering and lightning, somehow the lightning knows you're in the shower and travels through the pipes and kills you.
Oh, no, I didn't know that. I'm not sure that's ever actually happened.
Wow, it's amazing you survived. No, of course, you can't take a shower when it's thundering and lightning. Otherwise, you'll get electrocuted.
Do you enforce this in your house?
No, I kind of forgot about it until you just mentioned it now. But for sure, I'm very afraid of lightning and thunder. I mean, no, I'm not afraid of thunder. I'm not afraid of it. I love a storm if I'm inside.
Right.
But I definitely, you know how we've talked about like quicksand having an outsized role? And maybe because we grew up.
Right. Like whistling. We thought quicksand would be a big part of our lives.
We spent our summer, my grandmother had a house at the shore, and we would go to the beach all summer. We would just leave in May and come back in September, June, whatever, whenever school got out. And we spent our whole summer at my grandma's house. And maybe because of that, like being in the water, and we didn't, what I realize now is that having been on vacation and like at shore points, I constantly look at my phone to if it's cloudy and I'm like, is there lightning coming? But I think we grew up because we were always in the water in the summertime that like you had to be really aware of lightning and thunder because you didn't want to be in the water. And I don't know. I grew up with an outsized fear that I would be struck by lightning.
I mean, I don't think you should be in a swimming pool, right? Like,
well, we went to the Long Island Sound, and yeah, you'd be out in the water all day, but it was like you had to really listen for thunder, and then you would come running out of the water. I don't know. I mean, it's not a bad fear, like don't be in the water when it's lightning, but you know what I mean? Like now you can pull up your phone and be like, oh, we heard thunder, but it's, a mile away and it's moving the other direction. And I think, I don't know. I was frightened of thunder, and definitely, oh my gosh, don't take a shower. It's going to thunder and lightning 100%.
All right, we'll be back with even more random rules that some of us are still living by.
You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about. Like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or DSW.com today. DSW, let us surprise you.
My favorite skincare products actually feel more like self-care, like they're so nice to put on and they smell so good that I'm actually happy when I get to that part of my day. And I swear that is how I feel about Osea's anti-aging body balm.
Amy, you are usually the lotions and potions queen on this podcast, but I have to say, hard agree.
Osea's anti-aging body balm is a liquid silk body balm that combines the lasting hydration of a lotion with the firming power of a serum, leaving skin smoother and firmer.
This body balm is clinically tested and designed to deliver visible results you can see and feel.
So we've gotten to use this product for a couple of months now, and I swear I have really noticed firmer and smoother skin, like on the back of my hands. It's like getting a mini spa treatment from head to toe.
Get a spring-worthy glow with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now, we have a special discount just for our listeners.
Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code FRESH at OseaMalibu.com.
That's 10% off your first order with code FRESH at OSEAMalibu.com. Welcome to the Why Is This News channel from the What Fresh Hell podcast.
Bringing you news that's been making you ask, why is this news? Since the day you had kids.
Hey, you guys, make sure you bring your dishes to the sink after dinner.
Why do I have to clear the table?
Because it's a day that ends in Y, dude. You always have to clear the table. Why is this news?
Okay, kids, wrap up on screens. It's time for homework.
What? Homework? Why?
Yes, homework. Seriously, you have it every night.
Why is this news? No walking on the couch.
Since when?
Since forever? Since the last 6,000 times I've said it? Why is this news?
You have to wear pants to church.
Every single time?
Yes, every single time. Seriously? Why is this news?
Why is this news? This concludes today's broadcast from the Why Is This News channel.
From the What Fresh Hell podcast.
Amy, I have a quiz for you.
Okay.
How long does it take you to digest a swallowed piece of chewing gum?
You can't swallow chewing gum. It'll like live in your stomach forever, right?
No, for 7 years. That's the correct answer.
Oh, I heard forever. Okay.
No. 7 years. I wanted to see if you'd grown up in the same wonderful world of terror that I did. We were told exactly 7 years.
Yeah, 7. And what would be magical about 7 years? Like to the day, right? You're free of it once you this happened to you and you're like, well, at least when I'm 12.
Yeah, like basically if you accidentally swallowed a piece of gum, like mark the calendar. It's going to be in your system for 7 years.
Gum. I mean, while we're on this topic of things that seemed really important to have, like I was much more focused on gum and getting to have some when I was 7 than I have at any point in my life since then. I don't chew gum.
Because it was a rare treat or...
Yeah, or you kind of weren't supposed to have it because what if you swallowed it? I don't know. Like it was very, very important to me, and now not so much.
I would say that we had a really kind of healthy relationship with candy in that candy was fairly unavailable. Like the idea that you would buy a bag of candy, like a bag of Twix bars, that was only Halloween, was candy really. Like nowadays... I don't know. It's like the aisle that had candy in bags was like, I can't wait for Halloween. So we're allowed to go in that aisle.
So we can walk down. Yeah.
I don't know. We just did not have candy ever in our house. And then, but there was a place at the shore and it was called Wanda's Sugar Shack. And we would save all year. And then we would get to the shore and we would go with like, I don't know, $5 a piece. And it was this giant candy store. And we would just load up on giant bags of candy. We also had a Wawa's, and they had amazing candy too. And all summer, we would like sit around and trade candy. It was like so valuable, you know, and we would trade. Do you have a da-da left? Do you have a Laffy Taffy left? I'll give you my. It was like our currency for the whole summer, these giant piles of candy. It was the best. Oh, it was so good.
Mm-hmm. Candy was a big part of my life because, I mean, I could walk certain places, and one of them was McNeil's Pharmacy, where you could get a candy bar for 25 cents. And then there was a penny candy store that I could walk to also. So it was much more of a very regular part of my life to an extreme.
Yeah, we could walk to Finch's Pharmacy, but it was probably 2 miles away. So, like, we really had to, like, it was an outing. But we would save our money, and Finch's also had, which we were talking about recently, puffy stickers with the googly eyes for our puffy sticker collections. So that was a big outing. Head to Finch's and load up on candy. So good.
Did you have this rule? We did not have this rule in our house, but I read this as a very important rule of people's childhood, that you could only have one kind of cereal open at a time in your house. I do feel like when we were little that the difference between the grown-up cereal and the kid cereal, I agree, bright line.
Bright line.
That the kids cereal was like insane. I was just doing a puzzle with my 18-year-old. And you know, it's like collections of, might have old movies, or this one had a collection of old cereal boxes. And it was like Frankenberry and Boo Berry and, you know, Super Honeycomb. And he was like roaring at these cereals that we ate. I'm like, no, we had this in our house. It's just food coloring and marshmallows.
They don't make Frankenberry anymore?
Oh, I think they do. But yeah, my 18-year-old was extremely unfamiliar with it. And it's not because I make them eat oatmeal every morning, but just like the kid cereals that my kids accept are like Honey Nut Cheerios, not Oops All Berries.
That's
but
funny.
They're out there.
My kids are way into Oops All Berries. My kids are cereal monsters. Like they love the grossest cereal. Like it's like Oops All Berries, but what if it had marshmallows? I mean, they like the really gross cereals.
I remember you brought up Oops All Berries like 6 months ago on an episode, and I was like, excuse me, what is this? What are these words? Yeah, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, we're a sugary cereal gang. We really like it. I am going to link in the show notes to the funniest, I mean, I hope it holds up, but it is an article about Count Chocula giving a press conference. And he rises from his tomb and just starts attacking all of the reporters. He's like an evil vampire, but it's Count Chocula, and it is maybe my favorite thing ever.
There was much more innovation in the kid cereal space back in the day.
We call this, my friend Mindy and I call this candyvation, cerealvation. And it's like, we constantly text each other pictures of like, it's a Reese's, but now it's got white chocolate and Crispies on the top. Like, it's like, who is out there just all day being like, we could add marshmallows to Oops All Berry? It's like a arms race of insane candy innovations. And it's just, it tickles me to think of who is out there thinking of these things.
Did you have a rule growing up in your house that you weren't allowed to drink until you finish your dinner? Like first you ate and then you drank, otherwise you'd fill up on the drink and you wouldn't eat your dinner.
No, we had a one soda rule. We were canned soda drinkers, at least by middle school, and we had a one soda rule. My drink of choice was Pepsi, and it was one Pepsi, but definitely not. I mean, this would have to be for littler kids. Anyway, what I'm saying is no familiarity with this rule.
This was like on a weeknight, you'd have a Pepsi with dinner.
Yes.
But only one. Yeah. Can you imagine like the rules we used to live? Only one Pepsi per dinner for me, thanks. And now we'd be like.
Well, definitely it came in later because I definitely remember as a kid, I had some friend whose dad was in soda distributor. I feel like soda didn't really come in until we were, I don't know, we didn't grow up drinking soda, basically.
After the Wicker lobbyists died down, they moved on to RC Cola.
After the Wicker, soda, RC Cola. But I remember going to a friend's house and they had like a cabinet with pallets of soda in it. And I just remember thinking like, this is what heaven must look like this. And now again, like in this Costco world, like I feel like everybody's house has that now. But the idea that you would have like an endless supply of soda in your house was to me, I mean, like touching the face of God.
Exciting, but also like neutral. Like I definitely viewed like a soda didn't drink water ever, except out of the fountain at school, I guess maybe. We would have, at dinner, we would have iced tea, but it was the powdery kind. Like I'd be in charge of making for dinner.
Oh, the best. We lived on that stuff.
I would drink that right now. Yeah, and it was powdered iced tea. Mm-hmm.
Powdered drinks were the greatest. The height of elegance, people.
If you didn't have soda, because soda might just be like for special, then you would just have this powdered iced tea or high C.
I feel like we didn't have soda in the house until like high school, probably. But yes, powdered. That's right. We always had a pitcher, like a plastic pitcher, and someone's job before dinner was to add water to the powder and make...
With the giant wooden spoon sticking. Yeah, exactly. That was a rule we used to live by.
Yeah. Crystal Light. Oh, so good. So guys, we had it so good. So good. Amy, things for company. The whole word company, we're having company. Yes. We're going to link. I believe I've linked to it once before, but it's worth a rewatch. Do you know the comedian Sebastian Maniscalco, I think is how you say his last name?
I do, because you brought him to my attention talking about company.
Oh my God. He does the funniest. It's so funny. He does a whole thing about company, and it's everything you need to know about. He's probably about our age, and like company back in the day, and like, don't eat the cake, it's for company. And it would be like an Entenmann's cake. Again, I don't know if Entenmann's survived. Are they still out there?
Oh, it's still out there.
It was like, again, the height of like suburban elegance. You got an Entenmann's cake.
Got to have an Entenmann's crumb cake. We used to have Lorna Doone cookies. For company. Those aren't just like for, after school. Those were for company because they had it shaped like an S.
These two words, Amy, do they mean anything to you? Peak Freans?
Peak Freans? No.
Peak Freans. Oh, I'm going to link. Again, our Erica, who does all of our links for us, is going to have, and she's young, she's going to be like, what are you people doing to me? Peak Freans are a very serious cookie. They're much too good to waste on children. That was the Peak Freans theme song. It was, they were literally like, we're going for it. We're going to say what everyone knows. Peak Freans are for guests, they're for company. They're not for the kids.
Yes, and get towels. Towels are for company. My friend's house, her mother had a bathroom, a powder room that we weren't allowed to use. Like we'd be over at their house playing Barbies or whatever. We weren't allowed to use that bathroom. It was the good.
That's for company.
For company, and it had towels that nobody could touch, and the toilet paper on the toilet with like a hat on it. You know what I mean? The crocheted like It was all for company.
We don't need the kids in there ruining. That's for company.
Don't put any garbage in the garbage can. You have to leave it like that in museum ready condition.
Yes, museum ready. I love the crocheted cover on the toilet paper. I mean, the height of elegance, people.
We can't let anybody know that we have toilet paper in our bathroom.
Can't let anyone. That's another good one. We got a link to that bad boy too. What's his name? Chris.
Oh God, I follow everything he does on Twitter. We can't let anyone know we sit. Yeah, company's coming. It's called. We'll put it.
Company's coming. We'll put that up too. Poor Erica is going to curse our names as she finds all these links. But yes, the guy who does Chris Fleming is his name. And he does this bit, company's coming, and he screams at one point, we can't let anyone know we sit. And it is exactly what we're trying to talk about. Wow. I have joy chills because our childhood was awesome.
Yeah.
We had peak Freans. We had powdered drinks at every meal. We did not have soda, but we did have penny candy. And we knew enough not to whistle in the house.
That's right.
Which I will pick up. What is Grandma's name, Amy?
Mary Connor Wilson.
I will take up Mary Connor's cause, and I will eliminate whistling from the world.
All right. Watch this space for
I'm going to watch for my new podcast, Let's Stop Whistling, with Margaret Abels. And that's coming to you soon.
So our other news is we're on Threads at What Fresh Hellcast on Threads.
Threads. People, we were just talking about candyvations. Nowadays, it's techvations. People are like, wait a minute, not enough to just have Facebook, which is now called Meta. We got to have Threads, but we're on Threads.
Yeah. Find us on Threads.
We do Threads. That'll be fun for you.
We thread now.
I'm too old. I'm like, that sounds like a new thing. Who needs Threads? But anyway, you need Threads apparently, and we're on it. And with that, thanks so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
So long, everybody.